What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Park Visions, and in today's video, I've been going to Dorney Park for the past 2 years, and I always question myself, how would I rank these coasters at Dorney Park? In today's video, that all changes. In today's video, I'll be ranking all the coasters at Dorney Park, especially with the addition of Iron Menace in 2024. So if you want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on content like this. And if you want to see any more theme park content on Park Visions, make sure to do that. And as always, enough talking, let's get straight into the video. At number 8, we have Woodstock Express. I've only ridden Woodstock Express once, but obviously it's at the bottom of the list because it's a kiddie coaster, but that does not defeat the fact of how awesome it is to get the local kids into coasters that are willing and is confident to get into coasters, and the families to ride Woodstock Express with the young kids as well. And also, I like the area it's in. I like the Planet Snoopy theming it goes well with and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just at the bottom of the list because it's a kiddie coaster. And, it's nothing else to it, but it's still a great way to get kids into coasters. So at number 8, we have Woodstock Express. Next up, we have Wild Mouse. And these things are just so fun. And the reason why it's fun, because it feels sketchy. And the reason why it feels sketchy, obviously, is because of the hairpin turns. The hairpin turns are so sharp and just straight into it, where it feels so sketchy but so fun at the same time. It gets a great laugh out of you. It gets a great little, fun sensation out of you because of the hairpin turns, how sharp it is, and how edged to the side it is, and how sharp the turn is. But it's very fun. The drops are fun as well. The little dip drops as well. The brake checks on these things are so hard. Like, you go into the brake checks very hard, so it kind of hurts a little bit. Especially with the restraints, it doesn't work very well with the brake checks because you slam right into the brake checks. But like I said, this coaster is very fun, and nothing takes how fun it is from this ride. But it doesn't compete, obviously, with the coasters above because all of these coasters are more intense and more longer than Wild Mouse. So at number 7, we have Wild Mouse. Number 6, we have Hydra the Revenge, the B&M floorless coaster here at Dorney Park. Hydra the Revenge is very fun, and the reason why Hydra the Revenge is fun is because of this first element. Right now, you're seeing the JoJo roll. The JoJo roll is very, very fun, and the reason why it's fun is because that's the first element you take leaving the station. You're very used to doing lift hills out the station, but the JoJo roll really catches you off guard because that's the first thing you get out of the station instead of a lift hill. And I just love how slow paced it is and how much hang time you really get with the JoJo roll. But in terms of the layout, Hydra the Revenge is so fun also because of the layout, because of how unique it is. There's really no floorless coaster that compares with the uniqueness of Hydra the Revenge. But the only downfall with how unique it is the pacing. I don't think the pacing is as good as the other floorlesses, and the how forceful it is. It's not as good as the other floorlesses because of the weird, unique layout. So it's not that layout where punch, 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 punch. Hydra is very unique. It throws elements here and there. It's not back to back to back to back. It's just very spaced out. So that's the reason why. But it's low on the list, obviously, due to the fact of how intense the other coasters are compared to Hydra. But that doesn't take away from how fun Hydra is, obviously, with the JoJo roll and stuff like that. So Hydra's Revenge is still fun. I definitely recommend it. And at number 6, we have Hydra the Revenge. At number 5, we have the coaster that just turned 100 years old in 2024. We have Thunderhawk. Thunderhawk is very fun. It's a wooden coaster, and it still holds up for being 100 years old. When I mean holds up, it's still fun. It's still great. It runs incredible. And I always enjoy my ride on Thunderhawk. And there's certain turns on this ride that gets very extreme. This ride can get very extreme very fast due to some hot days, or if this coaster is just running good. Some of those turns can get very extreme. You really get thrown to the side a lot, which I really love about wooden coasters. I love getting thrown to the side on some of these turns on these wooden coasters because it just brings that intensity out of it. And like I said, Thunderhawk is number 5 because it brings that intensity out of a wooden coaster, and the drop is very fun. And a lot about Thunderhawk is very fun. It still gets pops of airtime here and there on the coaster. And for a wooden coaster being 100 years old, it still runs smooth. It still runs amazing. And I really enjoy Thunderhawk a lot. And it still doesn't pack up with the other coasters above, but it's definitely better than some of the coasters that are down below it. So I always enjoy my ride on Thunderhawk. Definitely try to ride Thunderhawk if you can. I really can't truly recommend a wooden coaster like Thunderhawk for having airtime and being glass smooth for being 100 years old. So at number 5, we have Thunderhawk. Number 4, we have Talon, the B&M invert here at Dorney Park. Now, before we even talk about the layout, Talon is one of the most aesthetic coasters at the park. The reason being because of its color scheme. That color scheme pops from so far. You could really notice Talon from so far because of the unique and aesthetic color scheme of it. I really love the pop of orange and the light orange above it. It really gives that unique color scheme. Now, talking about the layout, Talon is intense. Talon is intense, and it's not as intense as the other inverts, but Talon still gets very intense. I love the little tunnel down below. I love a lot of stuff about Talon. The whip, the forces. On a hot day, this really could become one of the top inverts. Because a lot of the aesthetics, a lot of the turns, a lot of the sharp turns you take, a lot of the forces, the whip, the elements. Talon has it all. I really like Talon, and it's very close quarters with the trees, which I really love as well. It gives that great scenery with getting close to the trees, basically hiding in between the trees. I really like that about Talon. But Talon is intense. Talon is fun. Talon is whippy. It's not the best invert out there. It's not the best coaster at Dorney, but it's still one incredible coaster here at Dorney Park. So at number 4, we have Talon. Coming in at number 3, we have the Phantom here at the park. We have Steel Force, the Morgan Hyper here at Dorney Park. Steel Force is very fun. I'm going to start off with that. Steel Force is one of the funnest coasters here, and it's the layout. The layout is what makes Steel Force very fun, but the monumental thing about this ride is the airtime. It's the airtime completely with this ride. It's not the drop. It's the airtime in between the ride that makes it very good. And after riding Steel Force in 2024, after we were told that they replaced the controls, since the controls were old, they replaced it with new controls. And now I feel like Steel Force is running better than any time at the park. 2024 was definitely Steel Force's year here at the park. Still not better than the coasters above it, but it's definitely ranked a lot higher than when I had it before due to how the rides were and that I got in 2024 with the new controls. I feel like it just made Steel Force better, and the airtime in between with the airtime hills makes this thing so good, and the ending makes it feel like a Magnum XL 200. I don't know why. Like it starts off with floater and then abruptly turns into ejector. Magnum XL with 200 is just straight ejector. That airtime is insane. There's nothing that compares to the airtime with Magnum XL 200. But Steel Force is like it's comparable to Magnum XL 200. The ending is so comparable. It feels so strong, but then at the same time, it could just get like floater and then abruptly turn into ejector at any moment, and that's what I really love about Magnum XO 200. It's very fun. It gets straight to it, and Steel Force is definitely one of the best here. So at number 3, Steel Force. Starting off with the top 2 here at Dorney Park, coming in at number 2, we have Possessed. Possessed is the definition of catching you off guard, and why I say that is because of the first initial launch. That first initial launch happens out of nowhere because some of them don't really like to play around and be like 1, 2, 3. No, they just sometimes they started out of nowhere, and the impulse launches really have a punch. Even the first initial launch before even catching speed, it catches you all like it's just straight like punchy. And that's what I love about Possessed, and that's why it's number 2 at the park. And I really love the twisted spike. It really gives that great feeling. It gets a great sensation going up that twisted spike and hitting the top of that twisted spike. But what would have been my favorite thing about Possessed is going backwards into the holding break. Possessed did have a holding break where you would go backwards and it would hold you and then it would drop you out of nowhere. So as you're launching backwards, as you go up the top tower, it would hold you, drop you out of nowhere, and then you go launch again, which is insane. That would have been my favorite moment, but sadly, Possessed does not have the holding break anymore. That would have been my favorite moment, but Possess is still fun without the holding break. It still catches you off guard. The launches are fun. The launches are punchy and stuff like that. So Possess is more intense than I like all the coasters below it, and that's what I love about coasters: the intensity, the punchiness, and Possess has it all with the aspects of being punchy and being intense. So at number 2 here at Dorney Park, we have Possessed. So earning the crown here at Dorney Park, with being number 1, we have Iron Menace, the all new for 2024 B&M dive coaster. I'm going to be completely honest. Going into Iron Menace's media day, I did not think Iron Menace was going to be good. I'm going to just be honest. Now, after getting 11 rides on Iron Menace in one day, I completely changed my mind. Now, it's caught me off guard with the intensity. The reason why is because you catch forces on moments that you don't think you would catch forces on. Especially the end of the drop. The end of the drop, you just catch a random force that kind of makes you gray out a little. Like, it makes you gray out, like, instantly. I don't know what it is, but it makes you gray out instantly, where I don't know why. Like, it was catching forces on that moment, but it was catching forces on that moment, and you would gray out. Now, the flow of the ride, I really love. The way Iron Menace flows with the elements with each other is what makes Iron Menace really good. And the flow, bringing the intensity all the way through the ride, is also what I really like about Iron Menace. It's not just flows and then it's not really intense. It flows with bringing the intensity with it. And especially the first ever incline loop. That incline loop is very intense. It catches you with a great force and has great forces in between the incline loop. It catches forces in, entering the incline loop, between the incline loop before ending the incline loop, and you catch forces ending the incline loop, exiting out of it. So it's just like the elements are flowing while bringing the intensity with it, and that's why I think Iron Menace is really good. So, and like I said, after riding this 11 times, I really changed my mind. I thought Iron Menace was going to be at least 3. It went from 3 to 1 for me. So, like I said, don't judge a coaster. Well, don't judge a coaster before you ride it. I judged it, and it ended up being my favorite here at Dorney Park. We're bringing the intensity and the flow with it throughout the whole thing. And there's a little jolt at the end that everybody was talking about. I think the jolt adds to the intensity. It's just fun seeing it. But the jolt, I feel like, adds to the intensity ending the ride before pulling into the station. So, yeah, that is my rankings here at Dorney Park. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you want to see any more rankings like this for any other parks, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you want to see any more theme park content like this on park videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are almost to 2K. Let's keep going. Let's keep grinding. We're almost there. So if you want to see more theme park content, hit that subscribe button. And that's going to do it. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.